Alright, so there's that. Okay, so Steph, what's your least favorite Mario power-up?
It might be the leaf from the third one, and that's only because you basically get a better version of that. So
The Tanuki suit?
yeah. So basically the leaf and the Tanuki suit are basically the same power up. It's just the Tanuki suit also gives you the added advantage of being invincible when you hit down. It's
Down
like down
B,
and B,
yeah,
down
yeah.
and B. And just because of obsolete nature, I guess, like the leaf, but it still has its uses though.
Okay. Yeah, you can still do the tail spin, basically, to knock out blocks that are parallel to you that you can't jump underneath. That sort of thing. Or knock out enemies.
Yeah, pretty much. And let me ask you, like, what's your favorite 3D Mario?
Ooh, favorite 3D Mario. I'm trying not to be lazy and say 64. Favorite 3D Mario. See, I have to tell you something. I kind of checked out on the Mario games for the most part after the GameCube generation, because like that was when I got my first Xbox and sort of got rolling with that, and now here I am. But from in terms of GameCube or earlier, favorite Mario game.
64, isn't it? You bet.
No, I'm actually gonna give it to Sunshine.
Sunshine?
I think I'm actually gonna say Mario Sunshine. I know there've been a lot of really good 3D games like since then, but if the question is like which are my favorite 3D games that I've played, there really aren't that many. You have Sunshine, you have 64, you have Luigi's Mansion. I guess that can sort of be considered part of that, right?
Say that again?
Sunshine, 64, and Luigi's Mansion.
Luigi's Mansion, I'd say that's more of a spin-off.
But it's still a part of the Mario franchise, and it's still in 3D.
I agree. Yeah.
It's a loophole, but it's valid.
Yeah. Because they had other games like that too. Like, the first Yoshi game was actually Super Mario World 2. And the first Wario game is Super Mario Land 3. So,
true. Also true.
So technically, I guess that kind of counts, technically.
But we're talking about the 3D games that I personally have had experience with, which basically boils down to those three. So between those three, trying to avoid 64, which, yes, blessed be 64, I'm going to give it to Sunshine because it actually tried legitimately to make, like, a fundamentally new sort of experience for Mario. For Mario platformers, basically, like the dynamic of FLUDD, in terms of how you were able to sort of navigate the world, actually sort of like do damage to bosses or enemies, literally like cleaning up the world, basically, and sort of like revealing puzzles and doing all sorts of things with the ability with the water collecting and spraying mechanic that was introduced in that game.
It was outside the box thinking.
It was. I realize that comes across like a bit of a stretch, given the intention behind the question that you were asking there. But that is basically like where I stand on that, mainly because everybody says 64 number one, but number two, it's like what makes something a favorite game. Like if the standard that you're using to determine whether something is a favorite or not boils down to like what your takeaway was from the game, how much of a takeaway you got from the game, as opposed to all other forms of software in that same sort of vein, that needs to be sort of really objectively sort of like analyzed in a way that you can sort of come away with, okay, yeah, I think this is worthy of this title of favorites because this did this that was new to the table, or it did what these other games did in a way that was fundamentally new and unexpected and was justifying of the $30, $40, whatever it was, basically, at the time, 20 years ago.
Not to mention its influence on other games, too.
Yes, which, again, brings us back to 64, which easily had far more influence than Sunshine. I will unhesitatingly give it that. I'd be crazy not to. But just in terms of, like, bringing something new to the table that, like, was actually trying to be different in an era where, in a time period where, you know, we're talking about, okay, so it's 6 years after the N64 came out. 3D games are ubiquitous at this point. Now the game has started to shift in the time period that we're talking about right now, spring, summer 2002. What can you do that is at least structurally or like aesthetically different from what is otherwise ubiquitous at that point? You know? And like the flood spraying, you know, was different for, at least for me at age 14 at the time. But
Yeah, like I might have to play devil's advocate a little bit because myself, honestly, for me, Sunshine with the flood mechanic, it felt, for me, it was a little bit gimmicky. The whole like switching to like mostly cleaning up sludge and constantly having to have a water backpack. And it's like, and on a minor note, apparently the shine sprites, apparently when you get all of them, the reward is very anticlimactic. Spoiler warnings, it's a postcard. Like,
oh, I remember that.
Playing the game.
I remember that. Yeah.
So, me personally, my favorite 3D game is Super Mario Galaxy. Like, for me, it's like...
That was after me. Yeah.
Yeah, like, for me personally, that was a game that, that's basically what made me go out and get a Wii at the time. Because I remember when I first bought it, like, in the wait, I've got Metroid Prime 3, but Super Mario Galaxy was a big one at the time, and I know later Super Smash Bros. Brawl was on the way too, but like I said, at that moment, like, Super Mario Galaxy was the main anticipated thing because it features the core gameplay where it's like it's just Mario, and it features like the classic power-ups like the Fire Flower. I think it. No, it didn't introduce it. I was thinking about the ice.
The Ice Flower.
Yeah.
And wasn't Galaxy 1? Wasn't that the one that introduced B Mario?
Yeah, that had B Mario, and I think 2 had the cloud power up, but it basically, like I said, to go back to the reward system, it had a much better reward. It lets you play as Luigi, but it lets you play the entire game with him. And he has slightly different mechanics in Mario, where it's like...
The flutter jump?
Yeah, he's got the flutter jump,
sure.
And
it wouldn't be Luigi without the flutter
gameplay.
Jump. Yeah.
And
except for this game we're doing right now, it wouldn't be Luigi if he didn't have the flutter jump.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird because there actually is a Ghost Galaxy. And
a what?
A Ghost Galaxy. And,
okay.
It's like a reference to Luigi's Mansion because you can actually find Luigi wander around there.
Oh.
So when you play as Luigi, and when you get there and you see him, and he's basically like, oh, well, I guess sooner or later there's probably more than one me somewhere in the universe somewhere.
Stands to reason. There is one other criteria that I forgot to sort of ask about, which is regarding, like, the type of Mario games. Like, you were asking a moment ago about what's my favorite 3D Mario game, and I was basically localizing the criteria to only focus on platformer type games, right? It's like Mario 64, Luigi's Mansion, and Mario Sunshine. That's basically it, up to the GameCube era, which is where I sort of fell off. So, like, there is one other 3D Mario game that I guess if we sort of expand the parameters slightly as to what a 3D Mario game is, so long as it is 3D at all, I can't believe I'm just now thinking of it. Double Dash.
That's a racing game.
It is, but it's 3D and Mario.
It's a spin-off title.
But it's 3D. We just talked about this with Luigi's Mansion. Would you not agree that that's a valid candidate? Mario's in that game. Mario's not in Luigi's Mansion at all.
You know, by that same
accord... Well, wait. Wasn't he at the end?
For,
oh no, I'm thinking of the third Luigi's Mansion.
No, I think we talking about Mario's in Luigi's Mansion?
Yeah.
He was in...
I know
he was in the first one.
He was in the first one?
Yeah, it's like after you beat the final boss, like he shows up in the ending.
Okay, yeah. I was hoping I was remembering that right. Alright, cool. Yeah, but yeah, so, no, but I was trying to place, like, what is a good example of a 3D Mario game that really deserves to sort of, like, have, in my opinion at least, deserves to sort of like share some of that crown. Full disclosure, I was never really all that into Smash. I was never into Mario Party or like this or the other sports games. So those kind of had to set out.
That's what I was about to say too. Where like if you include Mario Kart, and that's a race game. You know, by that same logic, we also got to include the other sports games like Mario Golf, Mario Tennis. Like there was a basketball game for the GameCube.
Hoops.
I think it was like a 3-on-3.
Yeah, that's Mario Hoops.
Yeah, and the soccer games, the Strikers. Games.
Yeah, I was never all that into the sports games, but how about Arthur? Did you ever try any of those sports games?
Yeah, I like Mario Kart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, which one? The original? Or?
Yeah, the original.
Okay. So after the SNES was where you kind of fell off.
Pretty much.
Understandable.
Pretty much on that. Yeah, the NES. Yeah.
I'm just not noticing you're already at like halfway through 5 right now, World 5. I've just been busy having this little talk show happening here, and you're just like going.
Yeah, so, what was I gonna say?
I missed it.
Dang it. But yeah, no, we were just talking about Mario, Double Dash.
Oh yeah.
Was a really good game. It's not Brawl. It's not Brawl, from what I understand. I know, but it introduced a game mechanic that has yet to be replicated.
It's the 2-player system. The 2 simultaneous players. One drives, one throws the items.
Right. And I mean, all right. At least from my experience, like when I owned that game, it was really fun. So
yeah,
but you're doing such a terrible job of hiding this pained expression on your face.
I mean, I'll just say I didn't hate Double Dash, but it's just the driving mechanics just felt a little awkward for my taste. It's like I said, I can't remember it in detail because it was like 20 years ago since I played it, but I remember something about the driving. I don't know if it was the drifting. It was something was off about it. Like, it was kind of hard to get a full grasp of it. I guess. Like, when you got so many things going on at once, it's like you can switch the characters too, where it's like they can take turns, and the mechanics become a little bit different with each character. So the drifting and
the weight management,
and the weight management, all the stats change basically.
Right.
But like personally myself, and I'll defend this, but like personally, I think the best Mario Kart game is DS.
7?
No, it was before 7. It was just for DS. It was after Double Dash, but before 7.
Okay.
Because in that one, it relies more on the driving mechanics. I mean, the items still can mess you up, but you don't have to worry about collecting coins and like.
I had a DS for a very hot minute, but I didn't have any games for it. I was still into PSP at that point.
Yeah, I actually still have mine. I was playing it last night.
DS?
It's on its last leg though, but.
Oh really? What the battery needs to be replaced or something?
Yeah, the battery and the touchscreen doesn't really work too well. I mean, I can still play like Game Boy Advance games. Like I said, all it needs is besides the screen, like just to change the battery and it's good as new. I mostly play for Game Boy Advance games anyway, but I was playing DS the other day. But yeah, I also have Mario Kart 8 on the Switch, and you know that should really be called Super Smash Kart because like it's such a big crossover. Got like Link and Animal Crossing and like Splatoon characters. And this is the base game. This isn't even including the DLC. But yeah, when I first played this one, because I vaguely remember it was me and my sister. We had it was a double cart. It basically had this game and Duck Hunt on it. Like you remember Duck Hunt?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a double cart in that. Because I remember, like, just to get off topic just a tiny bit, like, the game after this, like, the other game we had was a game called Shadow the Ninja. Like, have you heard of it?
No, I haven't.
It was kind of like Ninja Gaiden, but have you heard of it, Arthur?
Just Ninja Gaiden, yeah, but not that one.
Yeah, it was similar to Ninja Gaiden, but the thing is, like, you could collect power-ups and things like that, but I remember that game was so hard. I could not beat that when I was younger. I could get far. Because I remember in the 3rd stage, there's this really hard boss. Like, it's a giant tank that goes back and forth from the screen. And it can kill you in so many ways. Because I remember, like, when I finally beat it, that was like my greatest achievement as a child.
Oh, really?
At the time. Because I couldn't beat the stage after that, though. But I rebought it on Virtual Console on the Wii, and you know, like I stomped it to pieces, like I always do. I sped run it, like I usually do.
That sounds right.
But yeah, I remember it's like when I bought, because I did buy this game on Virtual Console on the Wii. I missed that, by the way. Nintendo, you need to bring that back. But when
Anybody from Nintendo was watching this, staff has some choice words.
So please bring Virtual Console back for the Switch 2 or whatever it's gonna be called.
Exactly.
So, like when I first bought this, I literally spent that entire day playing this game. From like 4 o'clock, like I downloaded at like 4 in the afternoon, and I beat it at like 1 in the morning. I just sat there,
Just non-stop.
Non-stop, just played it the entire time.
Wow. That sounded like one heck of a day.
Because the thing is, what happened was just, this might be cheating just a little bit, but what happened was, on my computer, I had this YouTube video of these 2 guys racing, like they were playing Super Mario, and I was attempting to replicate what they were doing. It was like seeing how they were doing their strats and things like that. Because you'd be surprised, like, speedrunners, they can do a lot of stuff with this. You know, some people can actually play this blindfolded.
Yeah, I've seen some of that. I don't know how. That's above my pay grade.
Actually, I think I showed you that video when we were in college. It was like when we were in a game room.
Oh yeah, audience, context. Staff and I went to the same college. But anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, it was me, you, and a couple other guys from the game room. We and I was showing it to y'all because I remember like you was looking up, you was attempting to play it, and I don't know if you was there or not, but I think when I played it, like I had my back turned, like to play it.
And just rolling off of it, like
Just to roll off of it, just to only motivated by sound though. That's the only thing. Is like it's sound cues.
I don't know, man. That's not quite as impressive. Always having to listen to things instead of just really memorizing it with no extra audio-visual input to work off of. I don't know, man. It sounds like you may need to put in some more work there, young man.
That's what it is.
You need to finish eating your vegetables or no dessert. Your mother and I are very disappointed in you.
What can I say?
This is going in your file. We've asked you nicely.
Lucky like that?
You're requested in the principal's office.
As always.
I don't know where I'm going with this. No. Alright.
So have you played it in the handhelds?
I mean, I had a GBA, you know, I'm pretty sure everybody did.
Oh, yeah.
I had a regular Game Boy and a Pocket,
Goodness.
and a Color, and Advance, and then that's when, like, after Advance is when I got PSP. I never got it. I didn't get a DS until, like, much later, and by then, like, it was, like, I'm in too deep into PSP, yeah, so it's like, you know, I'm not downgrading.
I had a PSP too.
Say again?
I said I had a PSP too.
Cool.
Yeah, but for me, it's like I said, I had the mainstream Game Boys. I had the regular one, the old one. Like y'all young kids probably don't know about that. The one with the 4 batteries.
You young whippersnappers.
And
No.
And let's see, I had that, the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advance, and then the SP. Well, actually, I had 2 SPs because I remember one of them broke, and I ended up getting another one for my birthday when I graduated from high school. But yeah, then I got the DS and the 3DS. But I didn't play because I remember my first experience with the handhelds, if memory serves right, it was when I was in middle school, and one of the older kids, he would bring his games on the bus, and every once in a while he would let me borrow one of them. And one of the games he had was Super Mario Land 2, the 6 gold coins. And he let me borrow that for a couple of days, and I got all the way to the end, but I couldn't beat the final stage at the time. But yeah, through him, like, I played a bunch of old games. I played Marble Madness, Metroid 2, that was the first time was exposed to that series. Then, I think I was still in elementary school stage. I stayed with my sister. She was in college at the time, and one of her friends, he had his Game Boy, and he would let me play his games. And one of them was the first Super Mario Land. That's when I played that. I think the second one was still better though.
Yeah, I agree.
I probably shouldn't mention this, but
No, you shouldn't. So moving on. No.
So like a month before, I mean, I know a couple of my friends from college are gonna get me after this, but basically, so a month before it was my birthday, I got a Game Shark. Like
Cheater. Pumpkin eater. Pants on fire.
And so it kind of helped me when I was practicing for the game. I can beat it normally now. I can beat it. I can speed run that too now.
The opinions
It was
expressed.
at the time I was young.
Do not-
Alright, I was learning.
The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect that of Weekend Showcase or SKST Studios, and by opinions I mean the indirect endorsement of cheating by
I
staff.
was young and I was learning.
Whatever.
Alright? You gotta start somewhere.
You gotta start by playing legit. Too legit to quit. What is wrong with me today? He said it. He said that. Arthur, that's his catchphrase. He has like one of 3 catchphrases. It's oh mercy Jesus.
Oh my Jesus.
Yeah, oh my Jesus, and mercy.
Mercy.
Lord mercy. Yes, that's the other one. Yes. I swear, one of these days we're gonna put your face on a T-shirt, and there's gonna be a speech bubble, like a comic book strip panel. Like there's gonna be a speech bubble popping out of your face, going like, "Oh mercy, Jesus." It's gonna be good. We'll be able to sell merch with that.
Oh, one more thought. Not so across my mind. So the thing about Nintendo is when the Game Boy Advance came out, they were porting some of their earlier games to the systems, the Super Mario Advance series. Remember that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got
they ported Mario Brothers 2 and Yoshi's Island and what was 3? Shoot. No, wait, no. 2 was. Sorry, wait. It was. I got this. Mario Brothers 2 wasn't the first one. Yes, I'm sure. The first one was Mario Brothers 2. The second one was Mario World. The third one was Yoshi's Island, and the fourth one was Brothers 3. Yes! I did it! Okay, all right, go ahead, finish your point.
Hey, like I basically got all of those except the first one. But it's a weird thing. Remember what I was saying about prehistoric DLC?
Yes, about the lost levels.
So the thing is with Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Advance 4, they had this thing called an e-reader. It was like for all intents and purposes, like you basically have 2 Game Boy Advances. You have one game in e-reader, and you have a game the cable hooks up to them.
Yeah.
So for Super Mario Advance 3, they had basically another form of ancient DLC where if you had the cards, you could scan it and it would basically unlock extra levels in Super Mario Advance 4. And you could play the secret levels in that.
Okay.
Because my old best friend, like, he used to have that. Like, he had the e-reader, and I used to play those.
Okay.
But it's like I said, you need... It's basically a Frankenstein hookup where you need, like 2 Game Boys, the game itself, the e-reader, the cards, the cable to hook them up to each other. So it became convoluted.
It's a lot. And that adds up in terms of cost, too, it sounds like. So,
yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Especially now, because... I wouldn't know what the cards would
and all
cost.
of this is and all of this is, by the way, to unlock functionality that was already on the games to begin with. That's the worst part.
That's the thing. It was already on it, and you need to do that to unlock it.
Pay to play. It was the original pay to play. It's like somebody at Electronic Arts saw this and were like, here's a good business model. Let's go ahead and replicate that on modern consoles. Thanks, Nintendo.
Yeah,
pleasure doing business without you.
Yeah, because I think. So the thing is, Nintendo they did put Game Boy Advance games on their online service. You need to pay $50 for it, but one of them was Super Mario Advance 4, and they did unlock all the extra levels and all the bonus features in that. Thankfully, because I think they did that for the Virtual Console on the Wii U. I'm not sure. I never had a Wii U, so I'm not really sure.
Yeah, me either. How about you, Arthur?
Never had a Wii.
Yeah. Either one?
The Wii U?
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah, that's alright.
Yeah, because the thing about it is, like, the whole, like...
Whoa!
I didn't think it was coming back, but oh well.
Yeah, they kind of, like, go off stream, but they somehow respawn. Yeah, but the thing is, with the not necessarily the e-reader stuff, but the Game Boy Advance games in general, there were a couple games like that where it's like they had unlockable features where you needed to do convoluted things, like like with Zelda, the port of A Link to the Past. Like, they basically put a whole new dungeon in that, but it's so stupid how you unlock it though. You basically need multiple copies of the game. You need to play the multiplayer to unlock. Yeah, you need to play the multiplayer to unlock all this stuff.
Wow, that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, and it sucks because, like you were saying earlier about about Super Mario Advance 4. It's like, all this is already on the game, it's just they won't let you unlock it unless you play this one specific feature on it that you can't play.
I don't know. All of this sounds to me like all this sounds to me like Xbox does it better. But anyway, never mind.
I mean, know what you mean. Like, I had an Xbox too around the same time. I got mine Christmas 2003.
I mean, if you're into, I hear what the dissenting voices will probably say. Like, hey, if you're just into games for games, Nintendo platforms are generally much simpler to operate. Just get in and go. Generally speaking, you know.
For the most
and it's
part.
like, yeah, generally, and it's like. Xbox, PlayStation, I don't think so.
You kind of need a encyclopedia for some of those.
Pretty much. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. And what's bizarre is like how as time went on, you know, a lot of the justification for why Nintendo gave a quote unquote superior gaming ecosystem, I guess, environment. It kind of started getting chipped away at over the years. You know what I mean? Like things like. Nintendo Online is no longer free. You have to actually that's the elephant in the room, basically.
Oh my God, I hated
all
that.
the games that you have access to that you used to be able to do, like you can't do anymore. You know, and all of a sudden, like functionality for games that you even own physically, they tear the servers down. You can't do, and we all have to agree to that to even play this stuff in the first place, right?
Yeah,
When
there's a bunch of games on the Wii like that where you can't play anymore. It's just lost media now.
And it's just you agreed to it with the terms of service. There's no real recourse for that as a consumer.
Yeah, the
so
only way you can play them is like if you just so happen to pre-download them before they shut the servers down.
So it's like good luck finding that on eBay at this point, basically. You know, and that's just the way that Nintendo, I guess, sort of wants it, basically.
Yeah, and I don't know how true this is or not, but I think like that's the main thing they're moving forward to, where it's like they want to take out digital, physical media and just rely on digital copies.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Also, the death of physical media. You know, because you have like, Best Buy is already no longer selling physical media between like music and movies. You know, at the very least with music, I know. So darn, I was
still sell DVDs anymore.
I mean, at least I know for sure, for certain Walmart still does. At least we still have that. But I mean, I was so looking forward to you know getting the new Taylor Swift album on vinyl at Best Buy. I was so looking forward to that. But oh well. I guess just physical media is kind of like about to
Fizzling
be the way physical is fizzled. I guess for lack of a better way to put that.
Had a good run though.
Yeah, exactly. Pour one out. This one's for the physical media distributors that ain't here no more. I don't know. Whatever.
Goodness.
All right. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. What are our final thoughts on Super Mario Brothers 1985? Arthur, go first.
Well, you gotta respect the classics, the old school stuff. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I loved all the old games anyway. So. But yeah, it's still the number one game to go to for me. Well, one of the number one games to go to. So.
And what is your number one from this generation?
You're killing me now.
I mean, you just said one of, so I gotta dig a little. No pressure, but all the pressure.
No pressure. I mean, this is a classic, so I gotta go for this one. But
okay,
there's other ones, but
fair enough. All right, fair enough. Staff.
I mean, I agree with Arthur. Like, you can't go wrong with the classics. I mean, it's something that, like, even people that don't even play games know who Mario is. It's just such a. Like, I mean, if you had like one character to represent games, like, it'd probably be Mario.
So, for me, for this generation, I would actually say it's a toss-up between the original Donkey Kong and Tetris. Best all time for this generation. Wow, really? You're going to leave me out to dry?
No, I mean, I agree with Donkey Kong.
Okay.
And Tetris I can understand.
Well, you got
So then
Pac-Man then. What about Pac-Man?
Yeah, I was thinking Pac-Man, Pac-Man.
Really, that would be the first.
It was an arcade.
Before.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
came out years before this.
Yep.
Yeah, but all right. Well, I never owned Pac-Man on this console, so that's why that didn't really occur to me. But yeah,
Okay.
I take your point there. But okay, so you're about to make one last point.
No, I was gonna say, not to mention, I just remember like this came out of the arcade too.
Mm-hmm.
It was an arcade cabinet for Super Mario Brothers.
Mm.
You could do like the tricks you could do, but it was still kind of fun though. And I think the warp pipes are different too. Where it's like I think you could only go to World 6 instead of 8.
But there were still a maximum of 8 worlds.
Yeah, there were still 8 worlds.
So you had to work through 7 and 8 the long way.
Yeah, you had to work through them the old-fashioned way.
Buzzkill McGee.
Yeah, I worked for it.
What? Shut up. All right. that does it for this episode of Showcase. Weekend Showcase. Thanks so much for tuning in. What?
Jokes?
Oh, yeah, almost forgot. Do you have all right, well, I guess I'll go ahead and do.
Okay, I got one for you. I got one just off of my head.
All right.
How do fish get high?
I don't know, Arthur. How do fish get high?
Seaweed.
Well, as we're filming, see, it works on two levels because as we're filming this on 420.
I didn't think. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so there you go. That was well played.
I didn't even think about it.
That was very well played. Wow, that actually, I actually had another thing here, but I don't think that's gonna beat that. I really don't think.
That was just.
Whoa, why did chicken cross the road? To get away from his wife. That's all I got. That's the best I got.
Wow. Okay. All right. How about this? Do you know the story about the chicken that crossed the road?
Get away from Colonel Sanders?
Me neither. I couldn't follow it.
Well, moving on to the next one.
Oh, God. All right. That's it for this particular episode of Weekend Showcase. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Donn. With me today were...
Staff O'Neill.
And Arthur.
All right. And don't forget to hit us up on basically any social media at Weekend Showcase or at our main website, Linktree, linktr.ee/Weekend Showcase. There's a contact form on that page where you can use that to submit games that you'd like to see us play or suggest some dad jokes that we should use on air. Give yourself a special shout out while we're at it. And also special thanks to our good friends at SKST Studios in Virginia Beach, Virginia for the studio space. Hit them up at the link in the description if you or anybody you know wants to lease out some studio space and time and maybe start creating your own content here as well, if you're local to the area, of course. And I guess that's it. Thanks so much for watching again, and we'll see you next time.